Yeah, so you're a single parent, right? I bet you don't have much money. Just wait your turn, all right. Back up, back up.
When I went to the bank with my son, Tyler, to withdraw some money, the bank employee, noticing I was a single parent, looked down on us. And then, to make matters worse, we were made to wait for hours. Just when I was about to lose my temper, Tyler whispered,
If we withdraw the $8 billion we have deposited, we could shut this place down, right?
That brought a sly smile to both our faces. My name is Sherry. I live with my husband, Rick, and our son Tyler, who just started kindergarten. I met Rick during our college days. Back then, I was busy studying for law school. Rick, who was studying at the medical school of T University, was also busy with his clinical rotations. We both joined the singles party just for a break from studying, but little did we know that this casual encounter would define our lives. We hit it off and exchanged numbers that day, and by the next week, we were studying together in the library. My university was a national one, so the tuition was affordable, but I needed to save up for law school as I was aiming to take the bar exam. Rick, busy with medical school, couldn't do much part-time work either, so his wallet wasn't exactly full. Our dates were mostly studying together at the library or at each other's homes and occasionally grabbing lunch, but I cherished every day spent with Rick. 4 years passed, and in my final year of law school, I passed the bar exam. Rick also successfully passed his medical licensing exam. And once our training periods were over, we got married. For a while, we were both busy working as a rookie lawyer and a doctor. Our jobs were so demanding that we couldn't even keep our house in order. It was always a mess. I wanted to cook nutritious meals for Rick, but with just my job alone, I couldn't manage. There were many times when our trash bags were filled with frozen food packages and empty lunch boxes. No matter how much I neglected housework, Rick never complained, but he was also too busy to help. I rarely stayed up all night, but Rick, being a doctor, often had to work nights. It felt like we had been running together ever since our intense study days. A decade into our marriage, we were blessed with a child. The law firm I worked for said, "We don't want you to quit. We'll keep paying your lawyer registration fees even while you're on leave. Please come back once childcare settles down." However, Rick, who was still immersed in his demanding job, also hoped for this, so I decided to put a pause on my career as a lawyer. I waited until my cases settled down before leaving the law firm. Then, time started to move surprisingly slowly. I could finally focus on our home, our soon-to-arrive baby, and Rick. Life shifted from being hectic to having time to care for our household. Our child was born, and we named him Tyler. Tyler was a bright kid. By the age of 2, he could read and write all letters in the alphabet. By the time he started kindergarten, he could read an analog clock and would start reading the news on the computer with Rick. On our way to and from kindergarten, he would explain the news to me. I was astonished by his rapid growth, but Rick just smiled and said, "I think it's normal." According to Rick's mom, Rick was the same as a child. But perhaps the peak of my life was those peaceful years spent as a stay-at-home mom, raising young Tyler by Rick's side. When Tyler was 5, in winter, our family went skiing. It was a beautiful sunny morning, perfect for skiing, but in the evening, just as we were about to head home, the weather turned bad. As we were hurrying back, Rick said, "I see something like a hat in the snow off the course. Someone might have fallen. I'll go check." I had a bad feeling, but knowing Rick, who worked in emergency medicine and always put saving lives first, he couldn't just ignore it if someone was in trouble. So I didn't stop him. If only I had insisted he stay. But it's too late for regrets now. As Rick approached the snow pile, a fierce blizzard hit, blocking our view. I was doing my best to protect young Tyler in my arms. And when our vision cleared, Rick was nowhere to be seen. The rescue team arrived quickly, but Rick, who had lost his breath and body warmth to the snow, had already passed away. I couldn't even cry. Under the fearfully blue winter sky that had cleared again, I stood frozen, holding Tyler. Rick, who had just been laughing and skiing with us, was no longer there. All the memories from when we met until now raced through my mind like a flickering slideshow. Rick was earnest, intelligent, and always straightforward. In front of my stunned self, Tyler did not cry.
Dad tried to help the person who lost their hat, right?
In front of the lost hat, 5-year-old Tyler understood everything. Yes, he did try to help. Lost for words, I was tightly hugged by Tyler.
Mom, I will help you. I will protect you.
From then on, a huge void opened in my heart. Tyler, true to his words at that time, stayed by my side, smiling, helping out with his little hands, and gently asking, "Are you okay, Mom?" He tried his best to protect me. But I realized that it was my responsibility to truly protect young Tyler. Now, without Rick, who was always with us, it's my duty to protect Tyler. This realization filled me with an indescribable fear of the unknown future. Rick, having been a doctor, left us with some inheritance. But Tyler was only 5 years old. I couldn't predict how much money would be needed in the future. Considering his intelligence, he might want to become a doctor like Rick. But the inheritance wouldn't cover the cost of medical school. I wished I could immediately return to working as a lawyer, but balancing a full-time job while raising young Tyler seemed daunting. I wanted to at least work part-time to earn some living expenses, but my health had deteriorated since Rick's passing, making even that impossible, and I felt anxious seeing our savings account dwindling day by day.
Don't worry, Mom. I will protect you. I'll grow up fast and it's all gonna be okay.
Tyler's reassuring hugs were my only solace. Since he quickly read through any book I gave him, constantly buying new ones would be expensive. So, we frequented the local library, allowing him to read plenty of books. By the time Tyler graduated from kindergarten, he had become proficient in writing foreign languages typically learned in high school. Learning foreign languages expanded the range of books he could read. Tyler, devouring books of all genres, had become much more knowledgeable in various subjects than I, who only knew about the law. Amid a life at rock bottom, having lost my loving husband and with no one to rely on, Tyler's growth was the only ray of light. Years passed, and Tyler turned 9. His passion for reading books remained unchanged, but there was a big change in my life. When Tyler entered 4th grade, I returned to work as a lawyer. I had always loved my job as a lawyer and had a decade of experience from my 20s, working tirelessly. A month after returning, I got back into the swing of things and was able to handle my work. By this time, my health, which had often faltered since losing Rick, had finally stabilized, and the nightmares that woke me up in the middle of the night had lessened. Still, balancing my job as a lawyer with household chores was challenging. I was barely managing the bare minimum, like preparing meals and doing laundry for Tyler. I had no time for myself. My makeup routine was just hurriedly applying foundation in the office bathroom in the morning. At night, I often fell asleep without removing my makeup, and my wardrobe was limited to suits for work and a few old casual clothes, making me look much older than I was. I even declined a college reunion invitation, feeling embarrassed about my current state, and returned home with a heavy heart that day. When I opened the door, I found Tyler sitting in front of a brand new computer, his eyes sparkling. "Tyler, what's with the computer?"
I won this. Remember the quiz show I participated in on TV? I kept it a secret until the broadcast, but I won. And this computer was the prize. Cool, right?
"You won. You should have told me sooner. That's amazing, Tyler, just like your dad." I hugged Tyler, sparkling with excitement. This computer marked the beginning of a new phase in Tyler's life. A year had passed since he received the computer as a prize from the quiz competition. Since that day, Tyler spent almost all his time at home on the computer. At first, I helped him with the operations, but that was only for a day or two. Then, he started buying specialized books from bookstores, rapidly absorbing knowledge. He was always quick at reading, and now that I was working, I could afford to buy him many books. Tyler's study desk quickly became filled with books on programming languages. I had only focused on law, so I knew nothing about computer development languages like Java or C++. Seeing Tyler so immersed and shining in this field made him seem almost otherworldly to me, as if he wasn't my own child. "Rick, Tyler seems to have inherited your knack for the sciences." I caught myself talking to the night sky. Sometimes Tyler would read my old college books too. Thinking about his future, I no longer felt the terror I had right after losing Rick. Tyler would carve his own strong path in life and society. I was sure of it. Every year on Rick's death anniversary, we always visit his grave, and this year was no different. While walking to the bank to withdraw money for Tyler's new computer, a man suddenly bumped into me from behind, causing me to nearly lose my balance and fall. The man who bumped into me was wearing an unusually glossy long coat and had a tacky oversized watch that he was flaunting. He then callously threw a comment over his shoulder. "Move it, you're in the way." What the? I almost blurted out a complaint, but I held back, remembering that today was Rick's death anniversary, and I wanted to avoid any trouble or foul language.
Mom, are you okay?
Tyler asked, coming over. I hugged him tightly. "Thank you, I'm fine. How about you, Tyler? That must have startled you."
Yay, maybe that man was in a hurry, but I can forgive him for bumping into Mom.
"Oh, you're so kind, Tyler. But don't worry, I'm okay."
Welcome. How may I assist you today?
When we arrived at the bank, we were greeted with such a warm smile that it blew away the unpleasant feelings from earlier. The receptionist, Cindy, as her nameplate read, listened to our needs, quickly prepared some paperwork, and handed us a number.
We're a bit busy today, so there might be a short wait. Please have a seat on the sofa over there.
We sat down on the sofa provided.
Wait, Mom, isn't that person?
Tyler exclaimed in surprise when someone was called out from the counter. Oh yay! I couldn't help but exclaim. At the counter, the man who had bumped into me earlier was sitting there.
Give me those papers.
The bank clerk at the counter received our documents with an attitude that seemed like he didn't even consider us as customers.
I'll proceed with the procedures. Just wait at your seat.
After scribbling on the documents, he handed them back as if shooing us away. What? I really wanted to complain, but I held it back. It's Dad's death anniversary today. We shouldn't argue, I said with a smile to Tyler.
What? So you are a single parent and a son, right? People like you guys should wait their turn.
I was shocked to hear such unbelievable words coming from behind. It was indeed the voice of the bank clerk from earlier. Tyler was also standing there with his mouth gaping. Tyler, don't worry about it. Let's read a book. Patting his shoulder and taking out a book I had brought. Tyler looked visibly upset, but he nodded and started reading his book. However, no matter how long we waited, our number wasn't called. At first, I thought it was because it was busy, but as I looked around, other customers who seemed to have arrived after us were being called and served. I thought it might be a misunderstanding, but it wasn't. An elderly man who had arrived just after us and sat on the sofa next to us finished his procedures and left. Then, a man who was businessman-looking, seemed to have come after we started reading our books, also completed his procedures and left.
Mom, let's be good today. If it's Dad, he would have waited quietly.
Stopped me as I was about to stand up to complain. You're right, I replied with a wry smile, opening my book again. It's ironic that I, the mother, am being reminded by her son, Tyler. And so, we waited for nearly 3 hours. Even Tyler, usually so patient, started to get irritated as our number still hadn't been called. Tyler, I'll go ask. Don't worry, I'll be polite. I won't do anything Dad would dislike. Tyler thought for a moment and then nodded. Excuse me, we're number 57. We've been waiting for almost 3 hours. I approached the counter, trying to keep my irritation in check, and asked as politely as possible.
What? 3 hours? So what? It's busy? People like you, poor folks, are always last?
The poor folks.
Yeah, you're a single parent, right? You probably don't have much money anyway, so just wait and go back to your seat.
What? You're changing the order of service based on that. I was about to retort, forgetting the promise I made to Tyler, when suddenly I felt a tap on my back. Turning around, there was Tyler, grinning broadly.
Mom, what happens to this bank if we withdraw all the $8 billion we have deposited here?
What are you talking about? 8 billion? Dream on, kid.
I couldn't bear it anymore when they started mocking Tyler too, just as I was about to speak out. Suddenly, The branch manager burst out of the back room with great urgency. It seemed like Cindy had relayed the message, as I could see her emerging from behind the branch manager.
Jimmy, what are you saying?
Branch manager.
Jimmy, the bank clerk, looked startled.
Jimmy, how dare you speak to our customers like that?
But, branch manager, these people are.
These people are Miss Johnson and her son, who have been favoring our bank with their business.
At that moment, Jimmy showed an expression of unmistakable surprise.
This lady, Miss Sherry Johnson. I had no idea. I mean,
Miss Johnson, I am deeply sorry for the rudeness of our staff member, Jimmy, and for the long wait for your transaction. Please come this way.
Assuring us into a private room.
We are terribly sorry for the inconvenience.
Upon entering the room, Cindy brought us warm green tea and small sweets, and a staff member other than Jimmy promptly proceeded with our paperwork. In fact, there is a deposit of $8 billion in this branch under my name. Of course, it's not money I earned as a mere lawyer. Tyler, utterly fascinated by computers and app development, struck gold with a game which he and his friends created. I had established a company under my name, where the money was deposited. Tyler's teammates, mostly graduate students and freelance engineers, played a role in the development. But it was Tyler, still in elementary school, who handled the main part of the development. App development doesn't end with the release. It requires maintenance and frequent updates, which Tyler primarily handles. Whenever simple legal knowledge was needed during development, he would read my law books to address it. Tyler, even as a child, has completely relieved me of financial worries and even gifted me with dreams. He mostly managed the deposits by himself. However, since bank transactions are mostly done online, we seldom visit the bank in person. Moreover, I usually stop by the bank in the middle of work, dressed in formal suits. Also today, we wore casual attire, so that's why Jimmy didn't recognize me. Perhaps he is new to this branch or simply not used to seeing unfamiliar faces. Regardless, it's outrageous and highly disrespectful to treat customers differently based on their appearance. We requested the branch manager to retrain Jimmy for the sake of other customers, and then left the bank. At the cemetery, I talked to Rick's grave about today's events with Tyler. Unlike me, who tends to complain, Tyler always remains calm and subtly supports me. I also talked about the game app again, which I've been doing every visit. Rick, Tyler's game, it's been half a year after its release, and is still gaining subscribers. Every time we release new skins or items, they have the best sales record. Tyler wrote the main codes for all of them.
But I can't draw, so Mary does all the art.
Tyler said happily. He loves computers and books so much, and it makes him difficult to make close friends at school. So working with his older teammates, helping each other to create something, must be especially enjoyable for him. He told me, I can't discuss coding with my school friends, but with my development team, I can talk about even the most complex topics. He's even studying a new language now. As I reported with a smile, Tyler happily waved his hand and said, Dad, I'll definitely protect Mom.
It was really hard when you left us, but it made me want to work harder to protect Mom. That's why I thought of making an app. and got motivated to write better code and study more. I feel like I am who I am today because of you, Dad.
Tyler,
When I grow up, I want to help people who lost their partners, just like Mom did.
Tyler declared in front of Rick's grave. He studied hard in middle and high school, keep maintaining top grades, and went on to the School of Pharmacy at the same university as Rick. He passed the bar exam and the medical licensing exam while still in university. Tyler passed the national medical exam at the same time as his graduation. His achievement of passing both the bar and medical exams garnered media attention, sparking speculation about whether he would pursue a career in medicine or law. However, it seemed he had always planned to continue with the company he started. The company, which he founded in elementary school through the development of a game app, had been mostly inactive after middle school. But he decided to restart it in earnest after graduating from university. He then made a conscious effort to employ single parents at his company. I also left the law firm where I worked and joined Tyler's company as the legal affairs manager. I was thrilled to use the knowledge and experience I gained over the years as a lawyer in my son's company. Moreover, due to the company's policy of employing many single parent, overtime work was basically prohibited. This allowed me to return home on time every day and slowly take care of household chores. Although I love legal work, having time to relax and focus on my personal life also seemed necessary. About a year after Tyler restarted the company, he mentioned that Cindy, the woman who had helped us at the bank that day, had come for a job interview. It had been over a decade, but the moment they met, both instantly recognized each other with a "It's you" from that time. Apparently, the rude bank employee, Jimmy, was fired after the incident. Cindy, who had been harassed by Jimmy and had already submitted her resignation, also left the bank. Since then, as a single parent with a daughter, she had faced many challenges, but those days finally came to an end. Cindy, always considerate and capable, became an indispensable executive secretary at Tyler's company. Tyler, Cindy, her daughter, and I go out for dinner once a month. When the alcohol starts to hit, Tyler often says, "Truth is indeed stranger than fiction and the most exciting." It seems that Tyler, who never had any romantic rumors, had even invited Cindy's daughter to dinner. She also seemed surprisingly interested in him. Life is truly unpredictable. Today, as I headed home in the sunset after work, I spoke to Rick in my heart. "Rick, please continue to watch over Tyler and me." Then, it felt like the first star twinkled in response,